Hi guys, we are having a bit of a backdrop change today, but that's because I needed my assistant to start this video out. So we're starting the week with Spookily Yours. I'm reading it on my Kindle. This is what it looks like. I remember seeing it last year, and I didn't read it, but I knew that I might. I was a little standoffish for reasons, but I'll get into it later. However, it literally starts out with the lines, ma'am. It literally starts out being like, oh, you know, I'm like a descendant of witches, so black cats were always a good luck charm. Well, and I have 3 more, so. Anyway, Guinea Ann, come here. Guinea, come here, mama. Pooch, I need your mama because I know you are not going to wear this sweater. Explode. Guinea, come here. Guinea mama. If you watched my video where I read fall books during the summertime, you'll remember me talking about how Guinea's pumpkin shirt has turned into a crop top on her. Anyway, so we're gonna start this video with my little bumps. Why aren't you being cuddly to me? I promise she's cuddly. Oh, Guinea. Okay, so I would like to say a quick thank you for the recommendation to Violet. So that nerd Violet is who recommended this book to me about a month or 2 ago, and then a couple weeks later it actually ended up being on the poll of books to read in her book club chat in her Discord. So I'm going to probably include some clips of when we have that book club thing next week. And I've never gotten to participate in one, but I do kind of like look and see what book they're reading, and I've looked for the last couple months ever since I've joined the Discord. Thank you for the recommendation, and it ended up being a book club pick, so that's awesome. All right, Guinea. Do you hate me? No. Is mama in a sweater? You don't know how to handle that. If this is your first video, Guinea is mama. Her name is Nagini, but we call her Guinea Ann. And she is mama cat, and this is her daughter. This is Sploot. Look at her little white toes. And then she has 3 sons, but they're in the other room. So when it said like this black cat is a demon, I'm like, great, I have 5. And that's not even including the ones in my head. Okay, and excuse that boomer joke. We're gonna start reading. I also forgot to mention A Storm is Brewing. It's so good. Oh, it's perfect. Let's go. I don't think I said it, but this video actually started out with me waking up at 5 a.m. to go to a new coffee shop opening. So I'm surprised my intro had any kind of energy. The sun isn't even up. Anyway, you didn't ask for this, but I did take clips at 5 in the morning and I wanted to put them in, so. It's giving wicked. Okay, I just wanted to do a quick update because I have a feeling I'm gonna finish Spookily Yours today because it is a Monday and it's pretty slow at work, so I'll probably be reading. I'm about 40% of the way through, so I'm gonna share the notes that I've taken so far. It's so bright. I like it when it's dark in here. Right now I only have 3 notes. Wait, where's my Kindle? All right, so my first note was that if you watched some of my other videos, I read the first 2 books of the Cozy Creek series early on into the season. And the beginning of this book is really reminding me of the beginning of Fall I Want, except it's sticking to the fall theme so far, and witchy. Yeah, but the beginning, like they work in a coffee shop. One is like able to just leave work. The other one is the baker. And then there's a third one that wears like crazy earrings. Like it's kind of the exact same as Fall I Want. Oh, so I highlighted this part. It says, she looked into my eyes and a part of me knew I could trust her and maybe she could help me. That was why I had practically crawled into her lap, why I let her take me. This is when Damien was still a cat, and when I read that, I was kind of like, I hope this is like what my cats thought when they showed up here and I just kind of adopted them. I hope they were like, you know, this lady is helping me and I want to stay here, and they will stay here forever because they're mine. So I was kind of enjoying like the internal monologue when he was a cat, because I was like, oh my gosh, is this like what my cat thinks? And I guess the last note I have right now, one, it's just a quick read. Like I think the whole book is like on average 4 hours. And so far I'm liking it. It is keeping up the witchy theme, which I like because I feel like some books that I've read this season have kind of gone off the initial reason why I picked it up. And I wasn't sure how I would like this book, and it's why I didn't read it last year, because I was like, she falls in love with someone who was once her cat. Like I didn't know how that played out. So he wasn't with her as a cat for very long, I think 2 days. And on some level, I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of wish he was there longer as a cat, with her knowing he was a cat, not like, you know. But again, it's a short book. I understand like why it picked up the way it did. Yeah, but anyway, that's the initial reason I didn't pick it up, because I was like, so she's gonna fall for this guy, but he's her cat. And I guess the only other thing, it's obvious. I mean, you pick up the book knowing exactly what it's gonna be. It is kind of like insta-lovey. You know what's gonna happen. I am curious to see what's gonna play out and like who cursed him in the first place. So it does have my attention there for sure. Oh, and then side note, look at my little mug today. Look at it. Look how cute that is. My grandma got me 2 of these for my birthday last month, and today is actually her birthday, so I'm gonna go see her later, and then I might even go by the bookstore and get her a book for her birthday. I don't really know what to get her. I don't like recording in the daylight. I feel like everything just looks off. My house is meant to be seen at night with low lighting. That's also my opinion of how I should be seen. Low lighting. In fact, lights off. When I see you, I will probably be done with this book. Should I take another book, or should I like be productive with something else I need to do? Bug, you wanna say hi? Bugsy, you wanna do your morning stretches on camera? Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Pew, 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 pew. Let's go. Okay, hi guys. It is 9 o'clock. I don't know how it got that late. Well, I know how it got that late because listen, if you watch any of my other videos, you'll know life's been rough and I've been struggling. I was like, oh, I'm unemployed. And I went through this whole spiel about my dream job that I applied to in 4 different positions in this company, and they didn't hire me despite me having 3 times the experience. I have 3 degrees. I have 8 years of experience in what they were looking for. And I knew the CEO's assistant. Like literally, it was ridiculous. They didn't hire me. And I'm not, that sounded really arrogant. I'm just saying it was kind of ridiculous because I know who they hired. Like I literally know the person. I lost the job to someone I know. And I'm not talking poorly about them. I'm just saying, homie, what? However, if you watch my videos, you also know I work at my parents' small business every once in a while, or like 3 days a week. And then now going back to Barnes & Noble for seasonal. So that's temporary, but 2 retail jobs at Christmas. And I just got a job, more of a side hustle, working for like Universal/Disney, which is kind of cool. But I'm in the training process now. So I got home from my grandma's birthday dinner and then I had to record my intro video, except it's not a video where you can record it and be like, that looks good, upload. You're live streaming. As soon as you hit, you're just live. And then someone came in and was watching it and I was like, that was my neck popping. Stress. Yeah. Also in my video, everybody else had been introducing themselves as like, oh, I'm so-and-so, I live so-and-so, I have 3 kids, blah, blah, blah. So in my video, I said, my name's Allie, I'm from blah, 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 and I have 11 kids, but they're not tax deductible because they look like this. And I literally held up Bug. Bug was just the one that I knew would let me pick him up and not squirm too much. So, are you okay, bud? Not my sweet boy. Now we're going to talk about the book because I did finish Spookily Yours. Hi, Buzz. Okay, let me pull up my notes. Bug, you're on my phone. Okay. I have a lot of notes. Forgive me. Okay, I'm going to try to speed run it because sometimes I sit down and I yap for 10 minutes. And it's so annoying to edit, and I know nobody wants to listen to me yap for 10 minutes. I'm already at 3. Okay. What I thought was funny, he literally follows her around like a cat. Like, you know how you can't go, like, in the bathroom without your cat watching you? there wasn't an exact scene of that, but he's giving the energy like, I'm gonna stand on the other side of the bathroom door. He literally followed her from room to room like a cat. Something I did like, I wrote this down because I did want to talk about this. The scene where they're carving pumpkins and she carves a cat for him and he carves a willow tree because that's her name. I thought that was really cute. It was pretty obvious that she was going to carve a cat, but I thought that was cute because it was like they really saw each other. You know, it was just like a very meaningful thing. I really liked that part. I thought that was cute. However, right before that, the dialogue was interesting. I literally was reading it and I went... But another thing about that pumpkin scene, I found it so wholesome. He's like 287 years old or something like that. But she was introducing him to different Halloween traditions and things that she loved. And it was like, how often do you get to try those things for the first time as an adult and like learn the magic when you get older? Because usually you lose that magic when you get older. So like seeing him get to do like these traditions for the first time, like you're doing them with like a 5-year-old for the first time, like... you do them with kids, but they start to comprehend it at a certain age. Like that was the energy it was giving, but in the most wholesome way possible, you know? So it's like, he was like seeing the magic of Halloween and holidays that old, when usually as you get older, you lose that kind of magic. And I really liked it. I really liked that part. Also, this is something personally not for me, because this is the reason I didn't pick up this book last year, because the lines between being like a house cat and a love interest is odd to me. I have 11 cats, but... Then again, I'll read books where a guy turns into a dragon and then like that's so hot. But even then I have to separate the facts because I'm like, you're kind of an animal and this is going to turn into some weird territory. Like even the dragon, because I made myself be like, but you like dragon romances, don't you? Not when they're in the dragon form. She didn't do anything with the cat, don't get me wrong. Oh gosh, that's not what I mean. But I literally have verbatim, this is in my notes, I said, I feel like once you start sleeping together, maybe don't turn into a cat and lay on the bed. It gets to weird territory. There's a scene, spoiler, there's a scene where he was in cat form laying on the bed. Odd, innocent enough. And then he just transforms in the middle of a bed and he's just a naked man. And then they start doing it. And I'm like, you were a cat 5 minutes ago. There needs to be some separation. Emphasis on the purr. I'm a little hyper, guys. I get really hyper when I get nervous to do something and then I do it and everything's good because I overthink and everything's fine. So doing that video for work was like... Another thing, I don't know if it's fully a critique. I was 70% of the way through the book and I felt like the conflict was not there. Like I was like, where are the stakes? Where are the stakes at? The conflict, which I might have completely looked past this, the conflict that I felt like it was building up to, like he was cursed. I thought they were going to go on this big thing to figure out who did it and why. I don't think we ever found out. Did I completely read past that? It definitely wasn't a big enough moment for me to remember because the entire conflict was just gone. And then there was a new conflict that lasted for a page. And I don't dislike the conflict that happened. I wish we had more information when it comes to the sister on All Hallows Eve, okay? Another thing is, and this comes with it being a short book. It is a quick read. It is a low stakes romance Halloween book. And that's exactly what you get out of it. That is exactly what you get out of it. So I feel like you can't be too hard on it. However, some things that I wish I got more of, like the day-to-day life, when like Willow's at work, you don't know. I've been talking for 8 minutes. Oh my. When Willow's at work, she goes in, a couple lines happen, and then she gets cut early and she goes home. Whatever. But you don't know what Damien is doing from day to day. Like there's a couple little scenes that you get, but I wish it dove more into that. And yeah, I just feel like everything could have been expanded on. And with that being said, I enjoyed the book the way it was. It could have been longer and drawn out and turned into this like full-blown like thing. It could have been higher stakes. It could have been longer. It could have been more in depth. But I also knew that I was picking up a short romance book. So it's like, it's a give and take, you know what I'm saying? Especially when they were leaning into the fantasy part of it, like the demon part, the demon world, the witch, the magic, the spells. All of that could have had like this big grandiose, like turned it into a cozy fantasy book with like medium stakes. And I would have eaten that up. I also wish we got a little bit more from the sister, because she is a prominent thing at the end but it just happened so quick and without any description. And I wrote this note before I realized, like, at the end of the book, you get a sneak peek into the second book. And so the second book goes back and tells you what happens during this book. I didn't know that at the time, so I kept thinking, like, why am I not getting any of the sisters' story right now? I would have liked that a little more. I would have liked a little bit from the sister, because it just felt so like, what? Well, I don't want to give too much of a spoiler, but yeah, it makes sense, because during her book, it starts out talking about Ghouls Night, and Ghouls Night happens like 50% of the way through in this book. So her story picks up halfway through this book. That's fine knowing now, but reading this book, I was like, this all feels just so random. It makes sense now. And I tell you what, I do feel like I'm going to keep reading this series. I enjoyed it for what it was. Like, I would have enjoyed it if it was longer and higher stakes and more drawn out. Like, I would have thoroughly enjoyed that. Again, I picked it up knowing it was short, sweet romance with Halloween. I mean, that's exactly what I knew I was getting to. And I've kind of already said these. Okay, the ending, cute. I will eat up an epilogue. And some characters, I eat it up when I'm like, they're a family. And then my last note literally says, the ending was cute. I will say that. And something about, and like my relationship with kids, and if that is for me, especially with everything that happened a year and a half ago, my exterior is very like cold to all of those things, but there's still something inside of me that, like, the same way seeing, like, reading a couple that's smitten with each other, I love it, but I'm very cold to it now. Like, externally, the same kind of thing with kids. Like, at the end of the book when they were like, you know, whatever, about kids and maybe having another kid, I was like, that's so cute, and he is so smitten with the kid, and that is adorable. That made it sound like I hate kids. I don't hate kids. I just have a weird relationship with, like, we're gonna move past. If you want to know, you can go watch my other videos. We're not gonna dive into that right now. I'm in an okay mood tonight. Okay. And then my last note, it literally says, listen, it was cheesy and fast, but that's what I wanted, and I may be cold, but something about people being smitten warms my heart. So pretty much what I just said. And I'm not actually that cold. I am sensitive as hell. I will cry. I will cry at anything and everything. So that was my review. Big week. Before I move on from this book, I am going to read more books for this video, but we're going to come back to this book when we do the group chat book discussion thing at the end. I've never gotten to participate in one, and I'm excited, and it just occurred to me, I need to take off work. I'm fully taking off work for this if they try to schedule me for that day. I'm fully taking off work. I've been planning for this for a month. 13 minutes! Okay, we talked about it in the first video, but can we talk about the bookmark I made? It's still going strong, and we're still, I mean, I just read this book on my Kindle, but we're still using it for spooky season, guys. Okay, that being said, I'm going to jump into another book in the next couple clips, and we have a busy week. I still want to go do Nashville Nightmare, and maybe go to the pumpkin patch again, and my friend's birthday is this weekend, so we're supposed to go to the city and do that, because I'm like the resident, like, I worked in the city, so I gotta tell you where to go. So, okay, I'm yapping. It's because I'm in, like, I'm kind of hyper, and this happens when, and like, when I go to edit this and I see that it is 14 minutes long, I want to scream at myself. Sometimes I watch, and here I'm still yapping. Sometimes I watch videos, I'm like, how do you get your point across so quickly? Because I'm gonna introduce the next book, and then I'm done yapping. I won't do it anymore. I can't possibly keep going. Okay. I thought about jumping into the next Caraval book. However, I have seen so many people reading this year. And I got it to read, and then I decided it was on my back burner of books to get to but now I'm kind of like, maybe I do read it because it's so popular right now. It's thick. Is it that serious? Okay, I'm kind of excited. Stop. I'm kind of excited. Stop. I think I'm just in, like, I want to read people being smitten, even though I want to. I keep calling. Okay, so Violet, whose book club we're talking in this video, I don't chat a lot in Discords. I talk more in Violet's than I think I do in anyone else's. I kind of just, like, lurk, you know? But in Violet's, I said something that her partner, Kip, came in and kissed her, and they did it like more than once, but every time it happened, I would be like, it's so cute, it's making me sick. And then Violet kept reading it, and I didn't like really even think that was going to happen, but every time Violet read it, I was like, oh gosh, that's kind of funny. So, do you... Thick. Sorry, I had to come back for one moment because this book is set in the autumn of the late 90s. And so there's like a content warning, mostly because there are like explicit sexual scenes in here, but also it just gives you some trigger warnings of certain topics like cheating, death, stuff like that. And then at the bottom, it's talking about how this was the author's love letter to autumn months in the late 90s. And then at the bottom it says, be kind to your heart as you read, friends. Now grab a blanket, light up a cozy candle, and revisit the autumn of 1997. And then I said, homie, I was in diapers. I was literally born in September 1997. It's giving Gilmore Girls, obviously. Okay. I'm kind of excited for this one now. I know it's gotten into me. Could have been the cocktail. I'm gonna be annoying one more time. I have Finch, the self-care thing. Not sponsored, obviously. But I just got a little black cat. I have a lot of those. I have 5. And I thought it was fitting considering the book that I just read. Anyway. I haven't updated in a couple days because if you have seen any of my other videos, you know I've been struggling with a job and losing out on what could have been my dream job a couple months ago. However, I now currently have 3 jobs, none of which are full-time and completely livable at the current moment. So now I have 3 just kind of like so I've been really busy. Anyway, so I haven't been able to read as much, but I definitely haven't updated. Okay, and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing before we get into it. My goals and what I waited to do for the end of this month were to finish, you know, the thing off, the videos off with, like, I wanted to pick this one up because I started reading it and I've read over 100 pages today. We'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to wrap it up with reading What the Hex, which is the second book after Go Hex Yourself, which is what we started this video, or like this season out with. So I wanted to wrap it up with the same book. However, today is October 28th, and initially I had planned to upload this video like October 30th. Potentially I still will do that. I'm not getting both of these done and 3 jobs in 2 days. Could I? Potentially. However, I'm enjoying this more than I ever thought I would. And I know I say that a lot with romance books because I don't do high expectations, because I just kind of like, I like to just experience them as they go, kind of like you would like romance. You don't, like, you have some expectations, but you just experience it, you know? I love this book. And I'm kind of at the point now where I do want to take, like, I'm reading a lot and I'm soaking it up. I could still finish this book tomorrow easy because I'm eating it up so much, but I do not want to rush this either. And it's so much more than just a fall book. It's described as like an autumnal, you know, whatever, and it is, but it takes you through like September, October, like halfway through they hit Halloween, and then you go into November and December, and I'm like, I would have loved to take this book a lot slower, but it's really hard to do that because I just want to keep reading it. And when I sit down to read it, I read like 100 pages. I'm obsessed. I love this book. And now I'm like, I hope her other books are like this because I'm a fan. So I don't know if I have any notes on this other than I might have 2. I think I have 2. Hold on. We'll look at them. I've also had coffee, like a couple sips of coffee for the first time in like over a year. So I don't feel, you know, knock on wood, I don't feel quite at that anxious level of, oh no, I've just had coffee. I'm at like the hyper spazzy So my notes for okay. I have 2 notes. One says, okay, off the bat, Cliff is hot. And I wrote this very early on. I have read so much of the book since I wrote these 2 notes. So I said, okay, off the bat, Cliff is hot. I love the banter between him and his sister and his kids. It's clear that they have a good relationship, and it makes reading about the kids fun. And also just like, it's written so naturally. Like, none of this feels like, oh no, like we had to do this so he has a personality, so the kids aren't, you know, blah, blah, blah. It just feels real. Like, these feel like real people. And if I met Cliff, okay. My next note, I've read single parent romances before, but it's usually one kid and they're young. This one has 2, and a 16-year-old and a 6-year-old. So that is another dynamic that I don't read a lot of, especially when the kids are older. And I kind of like that. And it's also like kind of weird to think like the daughter, Emily, is 16 in 1997, and that's how old my mom was in 1997. My notes right now. I really like it. I like how real it is, and I've talked about this throughout a couple books this year. The topic of grief is, I think, a very interesting thing to write about, especially when it comes to like grieving loss. And so far, the books that I've read, this is probably my 3rd one that really is it's like a big theme in the book, and it's very like all 3 of them have been very different from each other. And I like that because not everybody's grieving process is the same. But this one is interesting because, and you're still working through it, the character's still working through it, because everyone was completely smitten with Michelle, the main character's parents, was like, and her mother. And she was like, you know, we had kind of a weird relationship. So it's weird that everyone has seen like a different version of her, and I never really got to meet that version. So that's very interesting. And I'm looking forward to see how that kind of plays out, and where that like closure is, I guess, for Michelle. And I like how, like, I can see it, like, how close and how important she is going to end up being to Emily, the teenager, for similar reasons. So, I'm eating this up. And I just had to talk about it for a second, because I really feel like as soon as I open this book up again, I'm just going to be, oh my gosh. And, I will say, so, minor spoiler, something comes up in this book on Halloween night, which... Okay, I don't want to give too much away, but I don't want to use the term 3rd act breakup because we're still in the 2nd act, but it's more of like this probably isn't the best case scenario right now. And sometimes when books try to pull that off as the conflict of the book or the internal conflict of the characters, it feels very fictitious and forced. But where this one is, especially because it includes children, and Michelle says they need someone that can be a parental figure that is going to be here forever. Like, that, I feel like, is a real reason to step back and be like, we probably don't need to be together. I feel like the reasoning is very realistic in this book. But we still have a little less than halfway through, so I'm really excited. I just want to keep reading. Love it. Side note, started back at Barnes, worked there 2 days. I had seen this book before, but never gotten it. We're definitely not getting to it this fall, but... bought this one too. And it's literally like the teenage version of them. How cute! I love fall books. I'm eating this up, and I don't want it to end. I do not want this book to end. I also will say, I feel like when you catch like, oh yeah, it's such a fall-y book and it's blah, blah, blah. It's small towny, and I've read a couple books this year and still really enjoyed them, but I feel like it strayed away from the initial reasons I picked it up. Granted, I really enjoyed the things that I didn't expect that weren't the reasons I picked it up. I'm also really easy to please. You are getting exactly what you think you're going to get out of this book. I'm talking an amazing small town, but not forced. It feels very real, and it does feel very 90s without it, like, pushing down your throat. Like, sometimes you forget, and then it'll say, like, oh, the box TV, or, like, the plastic clear purple phone, like house phone, like little things like that. And you're like, oh, right, like it is the 90s. And it's just, it's so atmospheric, and it sticks to what it is supposed to be and feel like. And I feel like I'm really satisfied in that. I feel like a lot of people will be satisfied in that. And now I'm yapping, and I'm hyper. I need to go read. Okay, bye-bye.
as long as you're here with me. Sunshine, hey, you are my sunshine, 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 you are my sunshine. Sunshine on a rainy day. Sunshine on a rainy day. You are my sunshine, sunshine.
Okay. I finished it. I wanted to cry because I didn't want this book to be over. I did not know what to expect with this book, and I kind of put it off because I was like, I'm not going to want to read about the 90s. I'm not in the mood for it right now. It's a romance. It's a single dad. That's not my first choice, but oh, okay. Like, I was obsessed with, like, I was sad, but I'm like angry that I can't keep reading this book, and I want to turn around and reread it. And of course, I finished it, and then Mom comes over, because we watch Only Murders in the Building together, and of course, Logan Lerman is in this season, and of course, finished the book. Hours later, realize he could play Cliff. And I don't usually do real fan casts. I don't do, like, real actors when I think of... That's just not me, because I feel like it almost kind of ruins it for me personally. Logan Lerman could... And I think, too, like, that kind of puts in perspective how young Cliff looks, and technically is, even though he has a teenager. Anyway, guys, okay, I have a couple notes that I took earlier. Okay, so a couple things I wanted to talk about. Hello? Anyway, one other thing I want to talk about how the book ends is I knew it was gonna come up, but it came up this much. Like, that's how much you get in the book. A crumb of the sister, what's her name? Carol and Lars. Saw that one coming when they were confronting Cliff about liking Michelle the first time, or moving on the first time, which that doesn't make me a genius. I think anybody could get that, but I'm glad we got some kind of confirmation that there could be something there. And then, okay, I really liked the relationship. Well, I didn't like the relationship between Cliff and his ex-wife, Tracy, but I like that, like, I didn't like the relationship because obviously it didn't work out and there was animosity there and so, you know, that part sucks, of course, but there's a reason they are not together. But I really like and appreciated how, even though they're not together and they don't want to get back together, I think you can tell clear as day that Cliff is always going to love her to a degree because, I mean, that, you know, but not in like an inappropriate way. Like, that's the mother of his kids, you know? And that's another thing that I really like is he knows the issues with his ex-wife and between his daughter Emily and his ex-wife, and he still won't say anything bad about her, especially to the kids. And he, in fact, is like, that is your mother. That's the mother of my child. People need to respect her, all that stuff. And that was really cool because I think it's a cheap shot to make the ex-partner the villain with, like, no redemption. But there's kids in this situation, so, like, the ex is going to be involved to a degree. I really liked that part. And then, Rocket. I love Rocket. Rocket is like my, oh gosh. Rocket is just the best, the dog. But when Rocket and Brittany were not talking, it made me so sad. But I, like, legitimately was crying. So the epilogue is 8 years later, but it's told from a perspective of the dog. I know what you're thinking. Huh? There are little pieces throughout the book. Rocket doesn't have, like, he's not a talking dog. He doesn't have any other POVs to the book, but there's, like, these one little liners where, like, you know how you hear a voice for your pet in your head? Well, like, that's kind of what happens throughout the book. And then at the end, the epilogue is told from Rocket's point of view 8 years later. Like, 8 years is a long time, especially when you think about the ages that the daughters are. Like, those are big gaps. And then, of course, it was 8 years later. So then Rocket's, like, internal dialogue is like, I move around a lot slower than I used to, and it's harder for me to get around. I'm gonna cry. That was not nice. Why did you have to say that? I can't. When it comes to animals, I cannot do it. Don't do that. I love Rocket. Anyway. Oh gosh, like I actually teared up. Oh gosh, okay. And then the last thing that I'm really gonna say about it, because I don't feel like I've talked that much about this book, but I don't know what to say other than like, I loved this book. It's gonna go on a very specific shelf over there, okay? Like, I love this book. I cannot wait to reread it. And my mom, did I already say this? My mom is getting into reading, and she is reading a Christina Lauren book right now. And it's taken her a little bit to read it, but she's kind of dragging her feet because she doesn't want it to end because she's actually enjoying it. My mom is not a reader. But I've been debating on like, okay, if I can get her to read another book, what would it be? Blah, blah, blah. And I kind of had a couple like choices. It's this one now. Hello? It is this one now. Oh, and then this is like a little side tangent. You see the cover? How pretty it is? I like how the spine is like pretty plain, but then the spine also has the cover on it. I think that's so cute because when it's sitting on my shelf, I can still see it. So with that being said, I really don't know what else to say about this book. I don't feel like I'm doing it justice or saying enough, but I absolutely loved this book. Like, I need to go buy everything she's ever written. I loved it. Okay. With that being said, I feel bad because I have waited this whole time for this to be the last book I read of the season. Could I try to finish this in one day? It's just over 200. Oh, it's 300 pages. If I spent my whole day tomorrow reading this book, it could happen, but I have a lot to do tomorrow, and I don't think it's fair to rush a book and then maybe not judge it correctly because of a fake timeline that I've put on myself. And that being said, I think it might be fun to revisit these characters later because this is technically a sequel. So I feel kind of like a failure. Not a failure. I just feel bad because everything was leading up to finishing on the book in the series that we started with, but that's just not going to happen. And that's okay. I made this challenge up and I made the guidelines up. Like, it's okay. That being said, there are a couple other things that I forgot to do for the end of fall. I currently have 2 jobs and am training for a 3rd, and the training is intense. Like, yeah. So, I think that I'm gonna be done with the reading videos for Halloween. We will pick up next week with something else. But there were a couple other things I wanted to do. I forgot that I got little baggies to make like little boo bags. I don't know who I'm gonna give them out to. It might just be like my parents or my neighbors, or I don't know. But I made some cookies tonight. I also made French onion soup. I didn't like make it. I got it from Trader Joe's, but it's so good. But I also got cookies from Trader Joe's. I make chocolate chip cookies from scratch, which I really like. But I haven't made them from scratch since I tried these Trader Joe's ones. They're so good. So I made some cookies, and I think I'm still going to try to do my little boo bags and hand a couple out tomorrow. I want to upload this like on the 30th or the 31st, but I think I am going out on Halloween, so that's unfortunately not going to be in the video, which kind of sucks. But it's okay. You might see it in another video one day. And then I also found all of the other cards that I bought my mom. If you've been watching these videos, I have written her a Halloween card every week, and I've just found like 4 more. So that means she's going to get 4 cards over the course of 2 days. 5 cards. 4. She's going to get a lot of cards because I just forgot where the other ones were. So I'm going to stop yapping for tonight, and then I will see you in the morning when I pack up my little boo bags. My little cookies. And I'm going to do that. So I'm gonna be brainstorming about what video I want to pick up with next. That's a little scary because I don't have one ready to go next week, so I'm literally gonna have to read something like this week. Yikes. Bug, you want to say bye-bye to the video? Do you want to come say bye? Come here. Oh wait, it's not like bye-bye because you're gonna see me in a minute, but... Oh, and... It's a big stretch. Ah! We also have our book club with Violet tomorrow where we are going to talk about Spookily Yours. So you will see a little bit of that footage too. I took off work for this, by the way. I've been waiting all month to talk about this book with the group. So I'm excited. I made sure I wasn't working tomorrow and we're ready to go. Tomorrow is All Hallows Eve, and that is almost more exciting to me than actual Halloween night. We're gonna try to wrap up the activities that I do for this video. In that video, the only thing you're not going to see is me going out on Friday night for Halloween. Wait, I almost forgot to say it, guys. It only took 4 weeks. Over 4 weeks of recording these videos, but you've seen 4 of these videos. I finally started Stranger Things, guys. It only took until the end of October. I finished the first season. I've started it. I did it. I hadn't watched it because I couldn't get into my Netflix, and then one day I clicked on it and it opened up and I was like, well, now I have to. So I watched the first season of Stranger Things over a couple days. It's good. It was a little spooky. It's good though. I like it. Okay. I will see you tomorrow when we wrap up, unfortunately, our Halloween activities. And I really don't want to. I love Halloween.
Willow is a witch looking for a new familiar, a sacred bond with an animal that goes beyond mere owner and pet. She thinks she finds it in a black cat she comes across, but it turns out it's actually Damien, our main male character, who is a demon cursed by another witch who gets stuck in his cat shifter form.
Where do we go now? Just let me know that I'm safe here in your arms. I wanna stay. I'm slipping away, so don't let me go now. Your love is exceptional. It fills me up.
Alright, hi guys. Oh, sorry, Snoop. It is All Hallows Eve. Arguably one of my favorite nights of the year. However, I am going to wrap this video up so I can try to get it up tonight or tomorrow for Halloween. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to finish with the sequel to Go Hex Yourself. The name escapes me. And I did not get a chance to show you these. Halloween is here. And then bubble, make it a double. These are the last 2 cards that I'm going to be doing for my mom this Halloween season. It says, wishing you a very scary, eerily enchanting, hauntingly happy night. And then, hope your Halloween is the good kind of trouble. So I'm going to write these for her and then drop them off tomorrow. I also have to work at the bookstore tomorrow. And then I am going out to the city tomorrow and gonna party. Except I don't really party. But I'm gonna go drink. And then the other thing that was a theme throughout these videos was our little chalkboard here that I don't think I did last week, and I know I didn't do this week. However, other than going to National Nightmare, I think I've done, most of the stuff that I wanted to do. Not to mention, I finally started watching Stranger Things, which has been on my to-do list this fall since the first week that we started these videos. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I think I've said all I needed to say. It doesn't really feel like Halloween to me, and I'm kind of sad, but this happens to me every year where I get so excited for Halloween, and then when it's Halloween season, it just doesn't feel like it's right, The last couple weeks have also just been very busy, so that kind of sucks. But overall, I think I did some really cool things leading up to Halloween, and I guess I'm kind of satisfied with my October this year. So I'm gonna wrap it up, and then I will see you soon with something else. I don't know what. Okay. Bye.